How you doing, guys? This is Mark from Cars and Cameras, and today we're going to take a look at the Sony a6300 and kind of see how long this camera will record before it'll overheat, and also test out the clear image zoom. So the first thing that I was playing with on the camera was the clear image zoom, and for this test I had the Sony 18 to 105, and I gotta say, this is a really beautiful lens. So I wanted to try it out. On the long end of the lens here that you're seeing this is 157.50 millimeters, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom it in this next shot coming up with the Danelectro guitar, and I'm going to take it all the way. I'm going to zoom it into 315 millimeters and show you what that's like. So that's coming up now, and you can see it works really well. And it's really interesting how this clear image zoom works. Basically what it does is the processor compares patterns that are found on adjacent pixels and creates new ones. And right now it's going to zoom in, and you're going to see how this works. And so by doing that, there's a database of common objects that are held in the camera, and the processor uses this data to recognize the objects in the scene and help zoom in for more accuracy. So, how it's recognizing those knobs or those guitar strings, or those Phillips head screws there, I think it's probably, looking at the shapes. And, this clear image zoom has been around for a few years, but every new issue of Sony camera, it gets better and better. So here's another shot, and we're at about 157 millimeters. There it is. I put the card in there to show you, and I just went ahead and zoomed in on the badge there on the i8. And so it's really cool. I really enjoy the clear image zoom. It can be used in a lot of situations. I just realized that because there's no zoom control on the camera body itself, like some of the other Sony NEX series, A series cameras. But in the menu system, if you have a lens that doesn't have a zoom rocker on it like the 18 to 105 has, you can go ahead and you can enable it. You can't zoom during the shot, which you really wouldn't want to do anyway. I'm just doing that for testing purposes. But what you can do is you can enable, anywhere from anywhere in the zoom range. So you can go 1.4, 1.5, all the way to 2x power, twice the zoom range, and on any other Sony lens. And that's pretty cool, So I'm going to do some tests with the 50 millimeter prime, maybe some nighttime shots, because I just realized that was in the menu system that you can do that. So now I want to talk about overheating. For the past 2 days now, I've been using the camera, and I've been seeing this overheat icon, which will show up on the display. And I've been running some tests. It seems to affect the camera more when it's in the autofocus mode. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but the autofocus on this camera is really good, and you can really use it sometimes. So normally I never have the autofocus on at all. So on any other camera, I'm always manually focusing. But I've seen the icon show up on the A7S Mark II and the R2. On the A7S2, I always have the battery grip on the camera, and that seems to eliminate the problem 100%. I can run that camera all day long and be out in the sun, beating down on the camera, and have no problems. Now this camera, there is no battery grip, so the few times that I've been out in the sun, and after a while, if the camera's in full sun, I start to see the icon, and this is the icon right here coming up. Okay, so here's the icon. Here's what I'm seeing. When it first comes on, it kind of blinks and then glows solid. And basically when it happened, I was out in the sun with the camera, and I was shooting, and I was still in autofocus continuous mode. And so I just kept shooting with the camera, and it ran for another, I would say, 4 or 5 minutes. and then it shut off. I got this next message you'll see there. So the camera shut off, and so I let it rest for about 5 minutes, and then I started shooting again inside. And here I was shooting inside again, and then I still saw the temperature icon, but the camera was moving fine then. It was working fine. So I'm thinking that the camera, will reach a point where it's going to get too hot and it's going to shut off or show the icon. What's interesting is obviously, it's going to be heating up more when you're out in the sun. With the camera, it's a black body, it's metal, it's attracting heat. So, but I'm going to run some more tests on it and see what happens. So far, I think I can work around it. It seems fine because, like I said, this camera's incredible. Check back on my channel soon, and we'll have some more updates.